Hey guys, Cajun Reseller here, back at you with another Thrift With Me video. Today we're going to hit up, I think, 5 thrift stores, maybe 6. Let's get started with the first one where I find a really good item, an item I've never found before, and it's a video game. This is thrift store number 1 for this video, Goodwill in Gonzales, Louisiana. They always have some decent stuff here, seems like it at least. I find a really good item right here, actually. They did have a decent amount of video games for once. None of them were too great, but there was 1 or 2 that were okay. This one, NCAA Football 12, is a decent game. It probably sells for $15 to $20. I paid $3. That one is the good one. NCAA 14 on the shelf. So it'd been out, it'd been on a cart for a while and no one picked it up. So then they moved it to the shelf. I was surprised to find this. I don't always look in the video games / DVD section, but that's going to make me look in there more. I never would have thought I would have found that there. I also found a WWE SmackDown video game. They're all for Xbox 360, but it probably is worth around $25 as well. So some decent finds there. The little Simba, or it looks like Simba, little whatever you call that rocker, might have been worth it if I had that consignment sale coming up, since it's a while before that starts. I'm not going to waste my time picking it up and having to store it forever because I don't really want to ship something that big, and it's probably not worth shipping. Maybe it was. I don't know. I've never really looked into selling those that much because baby stuff is usually not really worth too much unless you can find something good. Here I'm looking for ornaments. Shiny Bright, I think, is the brand. I don't think I've ever found those at a thrift store. Well, I never found this NCAA 14 at a thrift store either, and then I found it for the first time. So maybe that'll happen. You never know, but hopefully it will. There's the new cart. This was all DVDs. This is probably where that video game was, and no one looked because it was just in a big bunch of DVDs. So yeah, that's why I picked that up, because at one point it had a really good price. It was going for over $100. I didn't sell it for that much. I'll talk about that in the summary. So I just happened to go in Goodwill one day, and what do you think I found? Of course, the first thing just sitting there was video game NCAA 14. That is a grail sports video game. Now, it's not worth as much as it used to be. Mine sold for $74 plus shipping. I had it listed for like $100, $115, I think, for a long time, and I was like, why is that not selling? So I go back, look back at the comps, and I'm like, well, that's why. The comps have kind of tanked recently on that item. In theory, there's a new one coming out. They're still negotiating, I think, or maybe it has already been decided. I don't know. But the game is being re-released now with the NIL, name, image, likeness thing that they're doing, where they're paying the players to be in the game. And that's a controversy all in of itself. In my opinion, you're getting a scholarship, but I understand you need to make some money as well. It's a gray area. Either way, that game is a very good game. I don't know if it's going to continue, but for $3, it was worth picking up. Also picked up NCAA 2012, which hasn't sold yet. It's not worth nearly as much as the 14, because the 14, the reason it's worth so much, it was the last one that was made before they stopped making it. So there's a PS3 version of it, and there's an Xbox 360 version of it. Mine was the Xbox 360. It's got the Michigan player on it. I'm not sure what his name was, but the Michigan player is on it. DeMarcus Robinson. I don't know who it is. And I also picked up a WWE. I don't think that one's sold yet either, but that one's worth probably around $20 to $30. WWE game. And y'all might have seen it in the little clip, but yeah. That's all I picked up, was 3 video games, but not a bad haul for $3 each, and definitely already made my money back, obviously. On to the next clip. So this is back at Purple Cow again. Found some interesting things. These toys for $1.99, I will pick them up for sure. The golf club as well. Golf clubs here I think are $1.99 as well. So $2 for that, each one of those items. The golf club is a decent find. I don't remember. I think I do actually have it listed, which is good for me because usually I don't list big stuff like that. I've tried to get a little bit better about, if I pick it up, I list it. I still have some that I haven't listed that are just in a pile, but in theory, my new whatever you want to call it is, if I pick it up, I have to list it. I need to do that with other stuff too, obviously. But this, all the furniture is on the right. They rearranged this Purple Cow. It used to be in the front of the store, but now it's on the right. And this is always go to the hats and look here. Don't always find a hat that I like, but sometimes you just never know. Like that Atlanta Braves hat might have been interesting. Decided to pass on it though, just because I don't think it was anything that great, at least based on my history of selling hats. So I continue looking through the hats and go to the other side where I don't really see anything either. Smiley face, random ones made nowhere. Here's the summary. In this clip, I picked up that little bag of LOL dolls for $2. If I can find a bag of the miniature ones, it was probably like is probably like 5 to 10 little figures, and then the accessories. It's probably going to sell for anywhere between $20 and $30, but you know, it's not a bad deal. And sometimes there are certain rare ones in there. If you take the time to Google into each little figure, you can sometimes find ones that are worth way more than just the regular, you know, $3 or $4 for each figure, which is kind of what I'm estimating at whenever I say it's going to sell for $30. There's probably 10 figures in there, $3 each, $30, somewhere in that range. And then you add the accessories in, it'll probably sell somewhat fast. I can't remember if I think I have that. I don't think I've actually listed that yet. It's somewhere in my inventory. The golf club is another thing that I keep picking these up. I'm not sure if this one's listed or not. I don't remember. It's a TaylorMade golf club though. Usually the TaylorMade burners are usually a pretty good brand to pick up, and that's what that was, a TaylorMade burner golf club. So let's go on to the next clip. Just like the last clip, we're back at Purple Cow again. Find some interesting items as well on this day. I think some of the stuff is still there. That Atlanta Braves hat might still be there, along with some other stuff. Some of those hats look familiar, so I think this was pretty close to the same day. But I find some interesting items that I don't usually pick up just because they're big, and I've tried to tell myself not to pick up big items. And like I said in the last clip, I try to list them right away. Well, these aren't listed yet, just because at one point I was doing research on them, and I kind of just got in a lull of not being able to find anything and not wanting to undersell it, and also having a way to ship it. These things right here. They are, I guess, decorative kind of vases. You can kind of put stuff in the hole right there, but it's a very tiny hole, so I'm not really sure what you'd put. But you can see right there, John Richard Vietnam, I guess is what that is. That's kind of the brand on it. So yeah, I try to look it up. I'll talk about it a little bit in the summary. If you know anything about it, let me know for sure, because I'm still debating on how I want to list those. So this is all the other home goods and stuff. I don't see anything on this day other than those two items that I do pick up. I do actually pick them up. I don't think I picked them up in the clip. Y'all didn't see me pick them up because I wouldn't be able to carry them and film at the same time. I think I do actually get a cart or a buggy, whatever you want to call it, and put the stuff in there to be able to take it around. But I was just here to show y'all some of the glass stuff, and you know, I usually try to avoid this at all costs. If I had a booth, I would probably pick up more of it, because Purple Cow is actually decent on their pricing. Here's a summary of what I found so far in those items. You ever go thrifting and then pick up an item and go home and be like, why'd I pick that up? That's what I was like about these. I'm only going to show this one, the smaller one. Y'all saw them in the clip. I talked about it a little bit in the voiceover. These things were John Richard Vietnam Company. They're made in Vietnam, obviously. July 29th, 2011 is the date produced. The product code, just random thing, QC pass, yes, you know, stuff like that. So it's written on the bottom of it. Y'all can kind of see it there with the reflection as well. But I paid $14.99 for this one at Purple Cow. I think I used my 20% off, so I paid a little bit less than that. But yeah, this little design, I couldn't, like, I searched John Richard Company on eBay, and there were some really good sold comps, which is the only reason I paid $15 for this. It's pretty sturdy, but obviously if I'm shipping it, I will probably try and use, I don't know, I think it would fit in a small heavy duty box from Home Depot, which is what I would probably use on this, because you know, you need some heavy duty cardboard on the outside to try and protect this. You can't really protect the inside of this too well, because you can't, when it's a tiny little hole, and you can't put anything in there to try and get down there to protect it. So I think it's more of like a decorative. You put something in there and it, you know, sticks up like a stem or something, obviously. But yeah, those two is what I picked up. Paid $15 for each one, I believe. And I think the profits are going to be there if I ever get around to doing enough research to list them. But yeah, if any of y'all ever picked up something like that and sold it, let me know. It'd be helpful. It weighs 8 pounds by itself. That's a small one, and it weighs 8 pounds. So yeah, shipping's not going to be fun on that, but if someone's willing to pay $150 to $200 for that, which I hope is what I would get, I'd take that. Let's go on to the next clip. So this is the Goodwill on College Drive in Baton Rouge. I don't know if y'all like me telling you that or not. Dandelion is the name of this little Beanie Boo. Hadn't sold yet, but it's worth it for sure. This guy also tests, I think it's a Test the brand, I'm not sure exactly. Some kind of Bengal tiger. That was $2.99. The little Beanie Boo was $1.99. Checked him for any flaws or anything. The little wolf there y'all saw in the corner might have been worth it too. They had a decent amount of plush here. Unfortunately, each one is priced individually, as y'all saw on each one of those. So the pricing's a little bit much for me, especially that thing right there. That's a fake Squishmallow is what I call it. $5 for that thing. No thank you. It's not even a Squishmallow. I don't think it was, at least. No, yeah, it's not a Squishmallow. It's Mushy Pals or something like that. So yeah, definitely not worth picking it up for $5. I don't know why they sell it for that much. I guess they just saw a Squishmallow or thought it was a Squishmallow or something. I don't know. But I do pick up those two items. One of them is already sold, the little tiger. He sold decently well. I'll talk about that in the summary of what he sold for. And yeah, why I didn't pick up some of these other items. I just didn't see anything else on that day that looked like it'd be worth the money. So that guy might have been worth it, the Octonauts plush, but I did try to look him up and I didn't find really any information on him. Looking through a bag of toys here, just I don't see anything that great, and it's like $7. I think is what that said, $6.99. It's definitely not worth paying $7 for that bag of toys. Unless you see a toy you know. That guy had some, I think I might show it here. He had a little bit of damage to his foot and stuff. Right there, it's kind of peeling, and I don't think it's a really great brand that I can tell. But yeah, that's why I passed on that plush. Sometimes Octonaut stuff can be very good. It just depends on what the item is. But yeah, Quasi, I think was his name. He just wasn't worth it on this day, so that's why I passed on him. I go to the new carts to show y'all some of the new stuff that was out that day. I don't pick up any of it, but just wanted to show y'all some of it right here. Sometimes that's the best place to look. It's usually the first place I look because that's the newest stuff that came out. So, less eyes have been on that. So you have a better chance of finding something that might actually be worth something. But yeah, that's it for this clip. Here's some more hard goods and other stuff, but I just pass on that. Here's what the tiger sold for. So at this thrift store, I pick up a couple items. This is the Goodwill on College Drive, I believe. They sometimes have decent plush sitting out. Now, obviously, $3 for a plush is a little bit more than I want to spend, but on those two items, I think it was worth it. The Dandelion Tie TY Beanie Boo, he's not sold yet, but he's worth at least $20, so I'll definitely get some money out of him. I think he's probably closer to $30. If he had the tag, he'd be worth a little bit more. That Test Tiger actually already sold for, I think, $40 to $50, somewhere in that range. Didn't cost too much to ship, even though it's pretty big. But yeah, for $3, I was willing to pay that. I think it was Tess, Tess. I'm not sure the exact brand, but yeah, I did look at some other stuff there, but it just was too much money for some of those plush. Y'all saw like a Squishmallow lookalike for like $5, I think, the strawberry. I think that's what that was. But yeah, I'm not paying that much for a Squishmallow, look-alike Squishmallow. So yeah, two items, some decent profits. I think I paid $3 each. Already sold one for $40 to $50, and the other one will probably sell for around $30. Next clip. Back at Purple Cow again, where I'm looking at shoes. Don't see any on this day that look particularly good, and they're usually a little bit overpriced. Pick up two hats, Muirfield and Oconee Club. Those two hats are decent hats. They're not worth a ton of money, but usually if I find some golf hats, which those are, they're golf course hats, some of those can be very good. If you find anything Masters related, usually it's worth some decent money. I sold Valhalla, which is where I think the either PGA Championship or US Open, whatever the golf tournament that's coming up, by the time you watch this video, actually it will be this weekend because this video is coming out tomorrow. So either that one's coming up. So if you find that one, obviously it's probably a little late because the tournament's happening this weekend. But just keep in mind where some of these golf courses might be at, where the major golf tournaments are being played. And yeah, those hats will probably sell pretty well around that time. I sold the Valhalla recently for I think like $30 plus shipping. So that's probably why it sold, because the people were going to that event or something. I don't know. And they probably were getting a hat signed or something like that. These are two golf hats that I pick up. They're 99 cents each at Purple Cow. I think this was the one on Perkins Road. But Oconee Golf Club, I think, was one of them. And then Muirfield Village Club or something like that. I've sold Muirfield in the past for around 20. This was a different one, but I've sold I sold a pink one in the past for around 20, so I was assuming this one would sell. Neither one of these is listed yet. So that's obviously they haven't sold yet if they're not listed. But yeah, if you can pick up certain hats, now obviously you're not going to know every single golf club, and most of them aren't worth money, but certain ones are. So it's pretty easy to type it into Google, Muirfield, Muirfield, Muirfield Golf Club hat, and sometimes there's a brand on the hat as well. You can look it up by that. But yeah, I mean, it's not the best sell-through rate, but for $1, and hats are really easy to store. Usually I use either totes or the long boxes that are used for comic books, and they're easy to store, easy to ship. I will wait on some of those to sell because, like I said, easy to store. Let's go on to the next clip. So this store, we're going to start off with hard goods. Just looking at everything there. And then I'm going to show you the hats I bought. One hat, Butter Goods. Two hat, Astros. These are 99 cents each. Three hat, Lovers Rock, I think that's what it says. And then four hat, Florida Marlins 1997 Championship World Series hat. A long time ago. Dontrell Willis, Pudge Rodriguez, maybe. Showing y'all this. No brand that I recognize, and it's $4. So I pass on, I guess that's kind of a butter dish is what that is. Those are little marbles in the bottom of the whatever that was. That would have made it weigh a lot if you're trying to ship it. So that's always keep in mind with stuff like that. I'm going to show you all some of the stuff here. Plates. Usually the collector's plates like that aren't worth very much money. You never know for sure, but usually if you're gonna look at those, here I'm looking for Fiesta. Doesn't look like Fiesta to me. I'm not the best at spotting Fiesta, so usually I have to turn the plate over to try and figure out if it's Fiesta or not. That's usually my solution. Sometimes you can kind of tell based on pattern, but not that great. Silverware was down there. I haven't found any good silverware in a while. This was a little while ago, obviously, because I'm wearing long pants, and right now it's burning up hot in Louisiana as of May. But yeah, this is electronics and other stuff. Don't find any electronics on this day. Haven't found any electronics here in a while. I found a Roomba for 99 cents a while back. That was probably the best item I found in a while at this thrift store in terms of electronics. But yeah, that's the items I found at this thrift store. I'll talk about the hats in a second. So here I pick up more hats. 4 more hats. The Butter Goods hat. None of these hats have sold yet that I can remember. I think most of them are listed, but like I said in the last clip, I'm willing to wait on hats to sell. The Florida Marlins actually was a hat from 1997 World Series. That was kind of a cool hat. I think that was Pudge Rodriguez when he was the catcher there when they were the Miami Marlins. Or no, which one are they now? I think they're the Miami Marlins now. Back then they were the Florida Marlins. You know, the whole state. Even though they had a Tampa Bay team, and then I can't remember if they have another team or not somewhere in Florida. But I think it's just the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Well, now they're Tampa Bay Rays, and the Florida / Miami Marlins. There might be another Florida team, but I'm not thinking of one if there is. There's lots of minor league teams. Pensacola Blue Wahoo is one of them. I know that one because my friends live in Pensacola, and I see some of the stuff there when I go thrifting there. But yeah, the Astros hat is probably the best one out of those. It'll probably sell for around $40 to $50. It's an older vintage hat. I believe it's vintage at least. So is the Marlins hat. The Butter Goods and the Lovers Rock or whatever that thing was, I saw a sold comp on eBay for them for around 20, so I decided to go and pick them up. They were $1 each, and that's why I picked them up. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment with your favorite item that I picked up or that's already sold. Mine will probably be the NCAA 14 because I probably won't ever find that again. You never know, but chances are I won't find that again. And the value will be even lower than what I sold it for now because the new game's going to come out and people aren't going to want it as much anymore, more than likely at least. Subscribe, not subscribed. Thanks for watching.